Excellency, Engineer Tarek Molla, Minister of Petroleum and Mineral Resources, Arab Republic of Egypt. Happy New Year, كل سنة وحضرتك طيب. And thank you so much for joining Egypt Oil and Gas Talks at the beginning of 2023.
Happy New Year to you too as well. You are most welcome.
Thank you so much. As we start this new year, we need to start by asking Your Excellency to give us a brief overview of how you see the results of 2022, and are you satisfied with the results of 2022?
Thank you very much, dear Engineer Mohammed, and thank you for this interview. And this annual interview is an interview that I'm always happy and proud and waiting for to have with the oil and gas, Egypt Oil and Gas magazine. And I would like to start by wishing you and all the sector all the best wishes for the new year 2023. Coming back to your question and answering it, I would like to say that definitely 2022 was a challenging year, and perhaps you know that the entire world is facing this geopolitical challenges, especially with the war, and seeing the oil prices and all the commodities are getting more expensive and getting tough to receive. Meanwhile, we have seen challenges in the entire supply chain value, and then this has reflected, of course, to the economies and to the trade. When we talk about Egypt, definitely we are part of this international challenges, and the oil and gas industry is part of our Egyptian oil and gas industry is part of the world energy industry, and therefore I would like to see it in a different way of how we were able to perhaps withstand and overcome these challenges. First, I would like to say proudly that we have been able to make sure and to ensure that all the needed supplies to the local market are there, and that we've been able to satisfy the needs of consumers, whether they are personal or motorists or industry, sure, household. Meanwhile, we were able also in this challenging time as well to increase our exports. And when we talk about our exports here, we talk about the gas exports, especially the LNG, and we definitely are trying to maximize them, and we have been able to successfully reach more than 8 million tons of LNG exports, which is a good number compared to the previous year, which was less than 7 million tons. This year, perhaps in 23, we will try to increase this figure, hopefully to approach more than 8 million and exceed it. This is from one side. Of course, when we say that we've been able to increase our LNG exports, that means that we've been able to increase our revenues, and for the first time, we've been able to, I would say, surpass the $7.5 billion of revenue generated from our LNG exports, plus some natural gas exports that we are exporting through the pipelines to Jordan. From the other side, we were able also to maintain being attractive to our partners. So we have been able to attract more investments in upstream activities, and especially, of course, for exploration and development of natural gas. Yes. Offshore activities were very well planned with our strategic partners, all of them, and we have a very important and aggressive exploratory drilling campaign, which started mid 22 and is being extended and expanded till end of 23 and 24, by which we will be able to drill more than 31 wells, important exploratory wells in offshore, west and east of our Mediterranean exclusive economic zones. And perhaps one of the important results that we have had is the discovery of a gas field called Nargis in association and partnership with Chevron. Yes, we have not yet announced the details of this discovery. However, this, I would say, is the first among several discoveries to come, and we are very optimistic that this will bring and will carry good luck in the coming drilling wells that are plans to be drilled in the coming few months. From other side, when we talk about downstream activities, which is an important side in order to satisfy the local and the I would say the people's needs. So gasoline, diesel, all that were satisfied. But when we talk about natural gas households connection, we were able to continue our ambition and our ambitious plans to connect more than 1 million household, additional new household to natural gas grid. So by which now we have, by end of last year's fiscal year, 13.5 million household. And when we talk about a calendar year, I would say by end of 2022, we have now more than 14 million household connected with natural gas. This is, of course, directly connected to and reflected into the decrease in subsidies to LPG. The LPG bottle cylinders are heavily subsidized, and we are importing more than half and 50% of the consumption. We see it decreasing year after year in spite of the increase of population. So when we started like 4 or 5 years ago with this aggressive plan of connecting more than 1 million households per year, we've seen it reflected to the imports of and the consumption of LPG that decreased from 4.2 million tons per year to now 3.6 million tons per year, which is a significant amount of a half million tons decrease and savings in LPG. It is directly imports. Meanwhile, we are continuing of having our important refinery campaign. We are now being, although being challenged with the interruptions that we had for the supply chain, receiving different parts and I would say important components of the projects, whether in Midor refinery in Alexandria or in Asyut complex that we are under constructing now. Both of them are being carried out. So by end of 23 we will have Midor fully completed and in operation, and this will add 60% of its capacity, and it will add more diesel and gasoline refined volumes to the market. Same as for Asyut refinery, ANOPEC, that will be completed by end of 24. And these are very important and significant projects that we are very proud to have them. In spite of the challenges, we were able to have financial closure for the Asyut refinery, which was an important milestone that we've been able to conclude. Meanwhile, procurement has been made and is progressing very well there, and site is under busy agenda, and the field is really very busy with different contractors there. Meanwhile, we are upgrading our Suez refineries and the Nasr refineries, adding new processing units, as well as in Alexandria and all our facilities. So I would say at the same time that most of our retail sites and terminals in depots for most of the companies are being all upgraded in order to make sure that we are, as you remember, since we launched our modernization project in 2016, so we are using also all the technologies in order to make sure that we digitalize all facilities, refineries, terminals, and retail sites, and they are all connected to EGPC. We are upgrading our refining process through using the linear programming systems, and they are all now connected to our SAP, and this is the new phase that we are doing now. We started with EGPC and the holding companies. Now we are having the refineries connected and running with SAP. And now we are adding our marketing companies, Co-op, NPC, Petrogas, and the pipeline companies. So they are all now undergoing an SAP project as well. So I would say briefly, upstream, downstream are active. The activities are doing fantastically well. On the international level, and this is something that we are very proud of having, we've been able to pursue the growth of the role of Egypt as a gas hub.
Yes.
And perhaps lately we have seen under the EMGF, which is the East Mediterranean Gas Forum umbrella, we have been able to sign an important memorandum of agreement with the EU together with Israel, with the witnessing and the participation of Her Excellency President von der Leyen, the EU President, and this was in June. After that, we had an important and very significant breakthrough when insisting and succeeding in having one of the thematic days during the COP27, which Egypt hosted in Sharm el-Sheikh.
Yes.
We were able to have a decarbonization day for the first time ever. And through this decarbonization day, we were able to host and to have all the energy companies, especially the oil and gas, and as well all the international organization, financial organization, and other world organization to attend and to witness and to participate during this day because of our belief, and we were able to convince the entire world that we need to be part of the solution. Since we've been accused as part of the problem.
Yes.
Of global warming and emissions and all so forth. So we were proud to have this important thematic day, and I think this was an important event that I would say internationally was a good closing to the activities that we had. So in summary, I think the year 2022, in spite of the international global challenges,
yes,
Egypt oil and gas industry has been able to have a good and successful year and very well recognized internationally as well.
Congratulations on so much accomplishments in 2022, and also congratulations on being able to create opportunities out of so many challenges that the whole world is facing. I think you were able to create so much opportunities from those challenges. So excellent job done, Your Excellency, and we're always proud with your leadership and your vision. I think that is what makes an industry successful as a start. So you answered all my questions that I had for 2022. So I'm going to go straight on to this year, 2023. What is it that you would like to see achieved in 2023? If you would name one or two main targets that you would like to achieve 2023, what would they be?
Well, perhaps you are right in the question that in continuation to what we have achieved in 22, we'll be continuing what we've done to complete and to achieve the projects that we have opened or we started a few years ago, and we wish to conclude in 23. Meanwhile, of course, I would like to see more and more improvement in the energy efficiency. And energy efficiency, I think, has to our sector been an important target and an important KPI that I held and I hold all my companies accountable for achieving and to reduce, and as a target to be reduced and to be realized as good savings through energy efficiency. Why I'm focusing on that? Because energy efficiency will allow us saving costs, will allow us more efficient production, and thirdly, which is more important, will save us more natural gas, which will be able to export, generating more revenues. So this is an important part that we are talking about. Secondly, I would like to see and hope to have more discoveries, and I think that we have important drilling campaigns that will be run during 23, and most of them we are just crossing our fingers as well, and as praying God to send us some resources, and that these drilling campaign would realize good discoveries, hopefully, inshallah. And I think with that, I would say that this will be translated then to quick projects in order to bring these discoveries to production as early as we can. Definitely we feel and we are very much aware of our responsibility towards the Egyptian economy. Yes. And how our oil and gas industry is, I would say, an important pillar to the Egyptian economy, and therefore we are really doing our best and our utmost in order to improve the revenues, reduce our costs, and to generate more foreign currency to our economy.
I think the oil and gas industry plays a pivotal role when it comes to contributing to the Egyptian economy, with all that you have mentioned. And congratulations on the new discovery of Nargis. It's also special to my heart because I live in a place called Nargis. So congratulations on that. And I'm sure with this discovery we would hear much more discoveries in the near future. Concerning 2023 also, what would be your key message that you would like to deliver to the international oil companies that are operating in Egypt?
Now I think that with the success stories that we had together with our strategic partners and our IOCs operating in Egypt, I think that we have gained more and more credibility, and I think that they have seen me close to them, being all the time engaged in all the different topics and activities, challenges and solutions. So with that, I would just still reiterate the importance of confirming their commitment and confirming their engagement and their growth in Egypt. I think their growth in Egypt is clear that it will pay off, and I think that this is the time where, since oil and gas prices are very high, and I think it is the time for them to explore more, discover more, develop more, produce more, so that we will be both in a position to say win-win, and at the same time we are aware, all of us, of our commitments. We as energy companies and energy industry, we are all aware and committed to the transition. and with less emissions, but with more production. So this is what I would like to ask my partners. Please stay committed, grow your business, grow your activities, and I'm there, the government is there, the leadership of the country is there. We definitely support you all the time, and I think this is our window of opportunity. We have made a good representation during COP27, and I think we are up to this responsibility, and we can deliver good hydrocarbons with less emissions and having some good revenues to our companies and to our people. So this is my message, wishing them all the best for the year 23.
Thank you, Your Excellency. I come to my last question of our today's talk with Your Excellency. And since you took the role as the Minister of Petroleum, there has been a huge success when it comes to corporate social responsibility that we have not seen in previous government participation. And with that new role, every year we see something new is happening with that, especially with your vision and strategy. What are your plans for corporate social responsibility, and with, of course, the existing international oil companies as partners within this plan?
Well, I saw over the years that we have, through our companies, whether they are state companies or joint venture or our international partners companies operating in Egypt, I have seen over the years that there is a goodwill and there is a good spend and good budgets towards CSR and social responsibility and so forth. However, I have not seen it reflected positively into the society, because these amounts and these initiatives and these social corporate responsibilities projects that have been made are scattered, fragmented, and they did not and they have not been sound enough to the level where the community would appreciate.
Yes.
And therefore I really created last year a committee headed by myself, so that to give the credibility and to give the message of the importance and the value of and the level of the message that I would like to deliver, participated by all companies, representation by all of them, and we did put together, based on the international SDGs, what are the priorities that we can implement in Egypt, based on the majority of the cities or towns where the companies are operating. So when we talk about Western Desert, Eastern Desert, or some of the Nile Delta cities, especially in south of Egypt. And we are prioritizing, of course, projects regarding education.
Yes.
And when we talk about education, sometimes also we talk about girls' education. And of course about health, medical health, hospitals, and different treatments, especially when we go, as I said, in uptowns and small cities where they are not privileged with the modern, or I would say high standard of needs that are being and services that are being offered to our citizens. So therefore I think that we have been successfully able to launch this committee and to launch several projects. So far we have not yet reached the level that I want, because this was the year one, which we started actually perhaps in the middle of the year, but we have a big plan for the year 23, and we have already now put into each company a focal point and a department responsible for CSR, which has not been the case before.
Yes.
So this is part of the culture, and this is part of raising the awareness of the importance of our role, being a I would say a good citizen, contributing to the society with very important and very positive services that would help the community. And actually, I have seen very positive response, very good engagement internally from our companies and our teams, as well as from different societies, because we go through sometimes the municipalities, the cities, and the governors in these different cities that we go, as well as some of the parliament members, which are also representing their people in the parliament. So I think with this important initiative, we will and you will see more and more positive feedback, and you will see very sound projects that will make a big difference to our community.
Thank you so much, Your Excellency. And I would like to end this interview in a different way. Were you able to watch the World Cup with all your busy schedule?
Yes, well, I was able to watch most of the important matches. All of them are important, definitely, but I mean semi-finals, quarter-final, and final, of course. And I was also lucky that I had the chance to attend some of these matches to Qatar.
Oh, really?
I was there at the, I would say, at the quarter. How do you call them?
Quarterfinals.
Quarterfinals.
Yes.
I've been able to watch two of them and to witness the development that has happened in Qatar, and how the Qatari government was able to host such an important
That's true.
global important event, by which we were really very proud that an Arab country was able to manage and to host and to facilitate a very successful event like the World Cup. So it was a very good and interesting experience that I had, being invited by His Excellency the Minister of Energy of Qatar to attend some important matches there during the event. So I think it was a good World Cup that we will remember it very much.
True.
And we have seen how the finals were very much exciting.
Yes.
And how the Moroccan team was very, proudly representing the Arab countries and the African countries, and we admired them very much, and how they were playing not only well, but very, I would say, with how can we express this?
A high spirit.
Yeah, with the spirit of good motivation, and they wanted to do something different. Exactly. So I would say briefly, we were very proud and happy of this World Cup, and I think that it was one of the important events of the year 22.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Your Excellency, and Happy New Year.
Thank you.
Looking forward for our next
Thank you.
year.